welcome to this video once again. I'm your usual lecturer, Felix Kunda, and I'm coming from Zambia Institute of Mass Communication. And in this video, we will discuss on who is a journalist. Who is a journalist? So basically, a journalist or a reporter is a professional communicator. So you are totally different from those that post on social media. For you as a journalist, you are a professional communicator. The other thing that distinguishes you from any other person who communicates is that for you as a journalist, you also write for the source. Because as a journalist, you go in the field, you collect information, and some of the information that we get from the sources, they don't even know how to speak properly. So you will be there to write for them so that what they're saying makes a lot of sense. And as a journalist, you also interpret for members of the public, because there will be information, for instance, on budget. So not anyone will be able to understand the budget presentation. So you move in to interpret the meaning of the budget. So as a journalist, you interpret for members of the public. Then the other thing, when you're doing the stories, you are also providing guidance on certain issues to members of the public. And every morning, people tune in to listen to news. In the evening, they tune in to listen to news. The reason why they're listening to news is that they are looking for guidance, and that guidance is being provided by you as a journalist. So for you as a journalist, you are also providing guidance to members of the public. And the next one, you provide a window on the world. Now, what we mean by you providing a window on the world is that when you go out in the field, you will be able to see a lot of things, but not everything will be put on television, not everything will be written in the newspaper. So you will pick what you think is important, and what you've picked becomes a window on the world. You're showing them something that would have happened at an event. Now let's also look at the challenges of journalism profession. I know journalism it's quite a prestigious profession, but it has also its own challenges. And one of them is antisocial. It simply means that as a journalist, you'll be working long hours. You'll be at a function perhaps from 22 hours up to 23 hours. And also unreasonable stress. And of course, you'll also be fighting to meet constant deadlines. So what we mean by a deadline is the news that we see has its own deadline. So for instance, the news that you're going to see at 13 hours, the deadline is at 12:45. So you need to write your story by 12:45. And of course, sometimes there's a distraction of family life, especially for female journalists. So I talked about antisocial or long hours of work, and perhaps your husband might not be happy for you as a wife to be arriving at home at 03:30 when it's very cold. Perhaps you will not manage your marriage. And of course, there's also inadequate remuneration. So journalists are not well paid, but they have a passion to communicate, and that keeps them going. And of course, especially in Zambia, our journalists do not have inadequate facilities such as transport, equipment, sometimes even a pen. You might not even have a pen. And also political harassment, especially in Africa. So if you're a journalist, maybe you're working for a state media, then the opposition will think you're supporting those who are ruling. Or if you are working for a private newspaper, then the ruling party might not like you. So those are some of the challenges that you will meet as a journalist. Now let's look at the qualities of a journalist. Qualities of a journalist. So a good journalist should be able to write a story, be it political, be it health, be it economy. So you are a journalist, so you understand all the issues at hand. And also the qualities, you have the ability to see the unusual. So what we are talking about here is when you are in the field, you'll be able to pinpoint what news is from everything that would have taken place at such a place. And then of course, as a journalist, you also need to be a very cheerful person like me. I always smile at everybody. I'm always likable. So if you want to become a journalist, you need to be a cheerful person. And others, you need to be knowledgeable, and what it means is you need to be listening to news. Tune in to BBC, listen to Al Jazeera, listen to ZNBC, read the newspaper so that you are knowledgeable, because you are an educator. So you can only educate others if you understand the issues. And then we also have commitment. as a journalist, you need to commit yourself. When you interview the people, when you interview your source, they expect to see themselves on television, they expect to see themselves in the media. So you need to commit yourself to what you have promised. And finally, nose for news. So every journalist should have a fundamental inquisitive nature. Therefore, you should have the ability to identify and present interesting news events. So as a journalist, you need to have the nose for news. That's it for today. Please don't forget to subscribe. I am your usual lecturer, Felix Kunda. See you again in the next video.